Well, hello, you crazy animals out there in WNHL land. This is WNHL 95 Weekly with the playoff preview with Ultra Magnus. And I know everybody loves my endless love. Yeah, you're going to hear that in the background. So screw it all. This week, we're just going to basically go through a really quick rundown how everything has ended. Everybody remembers that the awards are completed now. The only three that are left are the Bruley Cup, which is a revamped logo, the Prospect Cup, and the Gretzky Award for Playoff MVP. So standings, this is going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change. The playoff brackets over here. The tribes, we have three new teams coming in. Unsure of which tribe they're going to be a part of. But given what's going on, I think there's going to be one in the high. There's going to be maybe two in the high. And then another Waterloo crew. So the groups are getting a little bit bigger. And we might eventually have a tournament bash of the tribes or something like that. We'll wait and see. Maybe it's a live scenario we're going to do. But league leaders all stays the same. Expansion draft. We're currently going through it right now. Anybody who's asking what the heck it is, it's only the playoff teams that have to expose players. Nobody else. Protect 6. The 3 expansion teams get to choose from there. But given that there's 3 expansion teams and we only have 16 teams, that would be 5 picks each to make sure that nobody gets doubled up. So 7 players were taken from the free agency, but they get 5 players they get to choose from the expansion draft. So blue are team players that are retiring at the end of the season. Red is protected, they cannot be touched, and white is exposed. So then we go over to our team. This hasn't changed. There might be a few little modifications to it. I might tie this into when you select a team. It'll tie this in as well. And then same thing with player. I've moved on to 99 almost now. So like some of the players' ratings, you can start seeing the trends. And the same thing with the player stats down here at the bottom. Power polls are going to be updated today. So everyone's going to get an updated playoff power poll review. It'll be the final one. I don't see it much changing in the last 3 games. Team stats, I think a lot of guys have asked for this. King Raph mentioned it would be cool to be able to get all those statistics. I'm going to try to find a way to be able to display this a little bit more cleanly, but I think it's a pretty good display. But there's a lot of data here, and you're just kind of like, okay, where am I ranked in these? I might try to figure something out with that. The draft results. This is going to be important with what we're going through. This is 95 at the top. Then we have 96, and then now we have 97. So there's already been 2 expansion teams that have selected players. Mike Vick lost Tony Granato, and myself, I lost Owen Nolan. Yes, I know you freaking Ginzers or Yinzers, the way the Pit Boys would say. I basically exposed Owen Nolan for the main reason that I have a little thing up my sleeve, hopefully, that I have an alternative to play center that I think would be more ideal in the long run for myself. So you'll find that out shortly. So these picks here are for the ones for the expansion draft. So any teams that lose a player will get their additional 3rd round pick. Active players still stays the same. Free agents and rookies, I've combined them to minimize the pages. All-time leaders, records. This will be updated, and I will send out a WNHL 95 commissioner announcement of any records that had been broken during the season. That will go for games, which I have all the game stats, the regular season stats, and then these will all be updated. The awards, to recap again, Brick Wall Award went to Ed Belfour. Sniper Trophy went to Joe Sakic for Sunnyvale. Two Touchy Cup went to Phil Housley. Gadget Award for Best Specialist went to Shanahan. Thunder Bay got, Sandus Ogelis got the Street Fighter Award. Game Theory Award went to Grant Fuhr. Classic Cup went to Thunder Bay. Patrick Swayze Award for League MVP went to Joe Sakic. Aftershock Cup for League's Best Coach, Troy Hill and King Raph. And I will add Sean Bell into it. So everybody won. It was a 3 co-a. I know I didn't mention it, but all three of you guys, Sean Bell with his weekly analysis of all the games and the divisions and how everybody's doing has just been fantastic. I get a hard on just seeing it. I was a little disappointed with his review, leaving a little bit to left the desire for my head to head against Sunnyvale. But whatever, that's his thing. I guess he was a little upset that I didn't give my projection in all the series. But I got bigger fish to fry. Troy Hill, like I said, as dirty as he can be. Always constantly a source of entertainment, which has been a breath of fresh air every time he posts something. And then King Raph with his extractor that he created and also helping me with some of the formulas in the Google Sheets to make sure that we get all our stats to be visible. Jim Carey won this Chet Stedman Rookie of the Year. Forsberg and Rolston were hot at the beginning of the year, but I think Carey just carried it through for the rest of the season for them. For Pitt, Pensacola Ice Flyers got Kasperitis for the most body checks. Royal Flush went to Joe Sakic as well for most points. So the last three awards, like I said, are waiting to be done. Box scores. These will become just a photo, but this is for me to be able to create the box scores and then post them. But then after that, these will be created into a database where you can just go look for any game that we've ever played and it'll have a picture of the game. Similar to this, but I would have had the old versions as well. And then these last few things here, none of your needs. This is where I can go in and find all the games, find all the statistics for all the players. Same thing for this here. And then there's the raw schedule, which I can look in the background for all the stats and the schedule. Don't worry about it. It's all good stuff. Now to what you guys all wanted. The playoff review. So, given with everything that's going on in the playoffs, this is likely to be the final thing. I know in the Prince of the Clarence Campbell, this is the final thing. I know on the left, Mikey, Vic, EBC, and the Italy EBC still have 3 games left to play and have a lot on the line, whether he'll play Pitt or he'll play Troy Hill. So Taipei and with Nathan MB and Italy at EBC still have potential who they might be playing, but Troy City will be playing Audubon and Orlando will be playing Sunnyvale. So we're going to go on the hypothetical that we're going to do this, is that we're going to go with, I really do think that this is what's going to end up being the final, but that's my idea, that how I think it's going to end up, how it's going to end up tailing out. But so I'm going to go based on this. So let's start with Thunder Bay and North Bay. North Bay with the Unholy, very, very disciplined team, very good user goaltending that I've seen from him. A bit of an oddball out in the corner because nobody really saw him coming. But when he did come in, he took some time to get used to the league, but he does show promise down the road once he gets used to the players that we're playing with. And with the new structure of the league, that every season we're going to do a random wheel for the divisions and the conferences to make sure everybody gets a fair kick at it. But he's got a tall order ahead of him. He's got the expansion team as well with the Thunder Bay Pike, who fell short of King Raph's point totals for the season. But he brought home quite a bit of hardware from the awards. Lindros. Let's see how far he can bring him, but I think his true feel of his team is going to run through Barrasso. He's going to rely heavily on Barrasso, not to take anything away from Lindros, but I just think that team itself needs to have more balance, which would make him even harder to beat. But he's a very tight player, very strong defensively. But will North Bay give him a chance or run at the money? I think he could. But I don't see this series going past 5. I think Thunder Bay takes it. And with Thunder Bay taking it, I honestly think that's where it's going to go. I think he'll beat him in 5. Maybe lose the first game or 2, but then go on a run and take him out. Battle of Segathon. Battle of legendary Segathoners. The Richfield Oracles with Blair. B. Clinton. That bastard with his Lemieux, Damphus, it's too much to handle sometimes. And then you add Zitnik and Gusarov is just something that's really hard. And then you got John Casey, which is kind of I think it's maybe his Achilles heel. If he were to make another deep run this year, he's going to have to go through the gauntlet, in my opinion. But starting with Segathon is never going to be an easy task. I know Richfield is had a bumpy start, then got on a hot streak, bumpy little spot again, and then finished the season strong. I think he finished with 9 wins in a row. It's going to be very, very hard for Segathon to be able to beat him. He's the defending Segathon champ. We'll have to wait and see. But given from what I've seen from Richfield, they're going to be a tough team for a long time. The Mullets, heavily reliable on a lot of his favorite players, Ranheim, Reichel, and Ronning. Sorry, I forgot the third piece of the R&R railroad here. But those Mullets, I swear, with Paul Coffey on the back end and his goalie tandem of Rudy and Hebert, H&H, I don't know. He's like something with these letters. Maybe he's trying to like tell us something about his team. But this season, he took one of the R's out and added a Z. He added Zamnov. Zamnov had a breakout year. Zamnov's overall ratings just accelerate. Segathon plays a very traditional type of NHL 95, but that is very, I think it's flawless in the way he does it, but there is flaws in a flawless type of style because of the league. The league brings a lot of different variety of gameplays and challenges him. He started the season extremely hot and then got onto a cold streak. I think his longest losing streak was 4 games. Pushed a lot of overtime games, so he's beatable, but at the same time too, he's very dangerous if he gets on a run. Given this series, I'm going to push it to Segathon to win this one for the Minnesota Mullets in 6. So it'll match up a big next rounder, but it would be Thunder Bay and the Mullets. That's who I think it is. So Mullets in 6 over Richfield Oracles. The next one, I always get them confused. I always think Sean Collins is Nathan NB, and I always think when I look at King Raff with Anaheim playing Grand River, I'm thinking of that in the last 31 games that King Raff played, two of his losses, and his only 2 losses were to Nathan NB, which was actually Taipei, not Grand River. But given the head-to-head with Grand River, Anaheim's going to be a tough out. Bruley Cup defending champ, potential Bruley Cup champion favorite again this season, especially going 29-2 down the last 31 games after starting the season as poorly as he did. I think he actually started 6-10 to start the season. So from 6-10 to 29-2. you don't want to get on it. And if he had 2 more games, he would have broke his record for longest win streak again. But King Raff has those quick thumbs. He has a gameplay that just seems like the players teleport for some reason. But at the same time too, he's beatable. It's just that, can you beat him? You have to get some goals on him, or he's just going to demolish you. Phil Housley is an enigma. He's the Bobby Orr of our league. No other defenseman comes close, and I know Highland Wolf will complain about it, saying Gary Suter should be up there. It's Phil Housley's league, and Housley plays for another 5 or 6 years, so King Raff is set on the back end. And Urbe, surprisingly, he exposed them in the expansion draft, but I honestly think that Anaheim's going to take down Grand River. It's not going to be a pretty sight. Grand River has Howard Chuck. They have Bellows. They have Recchi. Great players up front. I think their question mark falls down on goaltending. It's really hard when you're an expansion team. You come in with a shaky goaltending to start off with. Even Barrasso with Thunder Bay. The only reason why I think that not only that his gameplay was strong, I think that he had a strong front. But when you have weak goaltending, it makes it really, really difficult. Look at even myself. I got Dominic Hasek, and I think I'm the cat's meow. But at the end of the day, me, myself, and I can only beat me, myself, and I. And in this instance, I think Grand River has too tall of an order to take down King Raff. King Raff, like I said, he's a cornerstone. He's a dynasty in the making. Regardless of who's on his team, he lost the midget Peter Kleeman last year. Replaced him with Thomas Sandstrom. Thomas Sandstrom was what's that called? The sidekick for Kleeman last year. Now he's become the #1 star, and then Benoit Hogue's taken over that spot. So it doesn't even matter who's playing on King Raff's roster. Give him a bit of speed and some space, he's going to make you pay for it. Grand River with Howard Chuck, he played well. Grand River, I'm not going to take anything away from them. Their team is very strong. Another season, he's going to give themselves an opportunity to make a deeper playoff run. But I think this season, your expansion year, you're going to fall short. I think the Ducks take it in 5. So given that, that brings in King Raff into the next round. Then the next series is a bit of an oddball one. LHX, a close friend of mine, and then the Highland with the Wolf, another close friend. Both these guys, very talented. The Wolf has been probably the most, of all the high tribe teams, he's the most evolved. Not saying that his record reflects that, but I think his game style has evolved. He no longer relies only on Brett Hall. Wendell Clark and Riche, yes, they bring in their tall orders. You got Suter that comes in and helps out as well. Richter's going to start slowing down. Does Highland need to start looking potentially for some goaltending? And is he deep enough to be able to make a Bruley Cup title run? Hard to tell, given the landscape of the teams right now and who he's got ahead of him to get to the Cup. I don't think it's going to happen. And first things first, you got to start off with the Renfrew Creamery Kings. One of the most consistent teams in the league from season 1 to even season 2. He actually surpassed his totals from last season to this season. And Belfort did take a step back slightly in his shutouts from 13 to 11. Regardless of how you look at it, that's still disgusting. And I think he led it by 4 or 5 shutouts. But then he also has on top of it too that he picked up his second Brick Wall Award. Belfour's going to be a rock in the league until somebody can dethrone him. I'd like to see who can do it. I don't see anybody. But dumping Gary Roberts last year, everyone kind of questioned it. Why did you do it? And he picked up John LeClaire basically took over. And LHX has been that consistent team that keeps low-scoring affairs. He can blow you out if he wants. But I think he consistently just says, you know what, Belfour's going to hold me in games, give me a couple of goals, and I'm going to win. Very steady Eddie. He has the new tricks of the styles. I think he's going to pull in a Trevor Zegras in the playoffs. He's going to calls it the West Coast offense. When you're from Northern Toronto, you can't say you're from the West Coast offense. But whatever, everybody implements their offense in different ways. But LHX and Wolf, I think this is a series where either it'll go 7 or it'll be over fast. Given the knowing both teams very, very well, I think the Highland Wolf has a chance, but I don't think he has enough in the tank to be able to take down LHX, especially with goaltending, which the Wolf's goaltending is probably his one weakness. I think LHX takes it in 6, and then he moves on to the next round against King Raff and the Ducks. So then the next series, we move over to the Prince of Wales. No, actually, no, we're going to stick with this, and we're going to finish off the Clarence Campbell. The next series for the divisional round, we have Thunder Bay against the Mullets. You have a legendary Segathоner, the creator of it all, against the granddaddy as well for Sean Bell with Thunder Bay. So you have 2 tribe leaders battling it out. In a best of 7, I'm not going to recap so much about what each team is. I'm going to recap more about their playing styles against each other. This is going to be an interesting series because I know how Segathon plays his style of game in compared to Sean Bell's, and both of those guys, when I've played them personally, it was very similar game style. So it's very difficult to be able to peg a winner in this. And given on how both teams play, I really do think that Sean Bell might hit his wall. There's a rookie wall for everybody. I don't care how powerful, how strong, or how good your record is. Your record is only good for the regular season. Playoffs is a completely different story, and you could be the cat's meow. Look at last season. Everybody thought that King Raff was going to demolish G-Lock in the first round. Yes, he did take over. He did dispose of him later in the series, but G-Lock played him solid in the first game. It shows that the top teams can be beaten. Then Highland Wolf pushed the King Raff to best of 5. If there's chances, you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you can and take care of the teams when you can. When you have a 7-game series, it becomes a little trickier. You get a little bit more animosity towards the person. Given that I know Segathon probably the best out of everybody in this league outside of King Raff. Some of you guys I've got to know really well, but knowing how Segathon is, he's going to end up going into hibernation if he loses. So I think he's going to lay it all on the line. He wants to have a conference final appearance and potentially a Bruley Cup in his future. He wants that future to be now. Sean Bell's team against him, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think that Sagathon has the depth to be able to take down Sean Bell. I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going to take the Mullets in 7. It's going to be a seesaw battle, and I know that Sean's not going to like that, but Sagathon's going to take it. I think he takes it in 7. This is going to be a long series. Both of them are going to have sore thumbs at the end of it. Next series, Anaheim and Renfrew. So the battle of the old guard versus the battle of, it's the, what's it called? How would I best say it? It's the immovable object against the undeniable force. However you say it, I don't remember the term. But when you have strong goaltending and a balanced offense, it makes you very difficult to beat. When you have electric offense and superstar ability with your thumbs and okay goaltending, it's a battle of the wills. And LHX, he has the chance to take down King Raf. He has the ability to do it. If anybody in this whole league has a consistent ability to take down the King, LHX is the one that falls into that bucket. Checks all the boxes whenever he can. It's the thing is he in the right mindset to take him down at that time? Right now, I honestly think LHX will take down King Raf. Not to take anything away from King Raf's season, not to take anything away from his abilities. I do think LHX has something special in store for everybody. Might be his season, and if I think the way he's played, how he's been staying steady, how he's improved from last season to this season, and his game's evolving a little bit more, I do think LHX takes him. I do think this is going to be a shorter series than most will think. I think LHX and the Renfrew Creamery Kings take down the Ducks in 5. Shocker, I know. But this is my video. If you don't like it, you can lump it. So in the conference finals in the Clarence Campbell, we're going to have the Minnesota Mullets and the Renfrew Creamery Kings. Two of the closest guys I know in the league. I'm going to have to say, I'm not going into depth. I've already talked it in the will of everything I know. I do think in this series here, the Mullets take it. Mullets take it in 5. The only reason why I say they take it in 5, I think Sagathon's going to be amped up. LHX might be having a little bit of baby on his mind, but I do think the Mullets take it in 5. Giving the Mullets, which side is this? Oh, I remember now. I think the Mullets take it in 5 and give themselves their first Bruley Cup berth. Who do they play? Let's get to that now. So in the Prince of Wales, we're going to start with Pitt and Taipei. Nathan MB has that type of team where you really want to know what he's going to be doing. His goaltending is going to be the suspect. Does he have the depth with Tugnut and Wakaluk to hold off Pitt? I've played Pitt with Adolf so many times already. He's taken the Canadian dump to some degree. Him and Troy Hill have started a new thing. It's called the flick and kick. That's what I'm going to call it. So you heard it now, the flick and kick. He flicks it into the zone and he kicks your ass right in the boards to hope for a dead leg. But I do think right now, given with Nathan and B's situation, that another expansion team got an 8th seed. It was a little bit of an uneven season. I really do think that Pitt with Forsberg, Yzerman, it's his shaky defense that's going to get him caught in some of these situations. Everybody in the Prince of Wales is very beatable and very unbeatable. So it's very, very odd. This conference is going to be a little bit trickier to call out compared to the Clarence. But with Pitt, with Jim Carey, it's the style of play that Pitt embraces. Will he evolve it in a way, or will he change it in any kind of way to face a series that's a long playoff? He won the Prospect Cup and took Forsberg last season. Welcome to the big show, boys. Let's see, do you have the staying will? You only had to play, I think, 3 or 4 games in the Prospect Cup to win it because of some guys were forfeited their seasons, so it kind of made it an easier trip. I'm not taking anything away from Adolf, but hey, Nips, Yinzer, You got to get it going, my friend, because I do think Nathan MB has the depth. He's got the scoring ability to take down Pitt. However, do I think that he has the ability to take down Pitt in this series? I think so. I'm not 100% sold. I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna run some crazy numbers here, but I'm not gonna say at the same time too. I'm taking Nathan MB in 6. Odd way to look at. Pitt, you're gonna fall. The number 1 seed's gonna fall in the first round. We need to have an upset. We really need to have an upset in this league, and I want to see one. That's my upset of the season. Is right there. Taipei takes down Pitt in round 1, beats him in 6. I'm not going to go into depth. I'll probably talk more about McLean. I left it to Sean to talk more about McLean, but the Sunnyvale Shithawks, highest scoring team in the league, MVP of the league, sniper trophy of the league. Raymond Bork on the back end. He's got balance. He's got Nelson Emerson, who everybody thinks like, hey, what's going on? McLean, you're not going to get away with this now because I'm going to change Emerson's number so everybody knows Nelson Emerson's actual number. I'm going to go on everybody's rosters and make sure there's no duplicates so everybody can kind of get an idea who's who. But with me and Sunnyvale, we have a bit of bad blood between each other. And good reason. It's me and McLean have talked quite a bit. But given the fact that we both had first round exits last season, in the first round, mine was to Mike Vick EBC, who got to the finals, and Highland Wolf took out Sunnyvale. The bad thing is right now for both of us, is it a complete revamp that we can't get past the first round? Will we both, whoever loses this series is going to be really bitter for the next couple of weeks to find out what should we do with our team. Given with me, I've already exposed Olin Nolan and I lost them already in the expansion draft. But I have a plan. My style of play is similar to LHX. I have different styles that I try. But the thing is that I got to stick with what's worked with me. McLean, cross crease king. I'm sorry to say it. It's one of the. I'd have to say it's the cheapest scoring style in the whole game. But nobody can stop it. A la tune of 183 goals for the whole team. Like no one can stop that ability that he has. Hats off to McLean because. As much as everybody wants to stop it, you can't stop it. It's almost like saying like in the NFL, like we're gonna run it against you. Everybody knows you're gonna run it. Hey, we got Derrick Henry. Put 8 in the box. It doesn't matter. He's still gonna fucking toke it for 160, 2 touchdowns. Stiff arm your freaking free safety while he's doing it. In this case, he stiff arms with Joe Sakic and gives it a little bit of a hip check as he goes down into the corner, cross crease, and dump it past your stupid goalie's blocker there. The only way you stop the cross crease, I'm not going to say it because I have something in store for McLean. So I'm coming for you, McLean. Given that, I'm going to be biased. You know what? Fuck it. This is my video. I'm going to do it. Sorry, McLean, go into hibernation because I'm going to take my team to go in the next round. I'm not accepting a first round exit to you. I'm not accepting anything longer than a 5-game series. I'm taking you out in 5. I might lose the first game to let you kind of get used to your cross crease shit, and I'm shutting you down. I'm telling you right now, it's on the video. Move over to the next series. Given with the last 3 games how they're going to transpire, I do think Troy Hill is going to play Mike Vick EBC. Troy Hill, my God. Other than his dirty mouth, his dirty mind, he's got a dirty style of hockey. If I had to say if there's any team that embraces a style of hockey in the NHL of any kind of decade, he's the Broad Street Bullies. He's the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't want to say it because he's from Pittsburgh, but the Broad Street Bullies. He beats you up. He deadmans you in the corner. He, like I said, the flick and kick. He's going to do it against you as well. And the thing is, he's got subpar goaltending. Justin Thibault's nothing special. I think he's a 68. He's nothing special. It's his forwards. He's got Gary Roberts, who led the way for him. I pretty much think that in a way, when you look at it, with him having Gary Roberts and being his leading scorer, he's similar to King Raff. His style of play is very aggressive. He can get burnt, but the thing is, he's starting to evolve his manual goaltending. His style of play is very similar to King Raff's, but not as fluid, a little bit more abrasive. Where King Raph, yeah, King Raph might be a little bit softer in his approach, but he's shifty as fuck. Whereas Troy Hill, not so shifty, but he hip checks every single person who comes through his zone. He flicks and kicks to the death of us, and he's known for the Canadian dump. If you don't know what the Canadian dump is, when you play Troy Hill, you'll know right away what the Canadian dump is. Mike Vick, EBC, I can't go into enough depth to explain how bitter I am against him. Not so much for the fact that he has 3 games left and he's the one that's holding up the playoffs. No fault to your own, Mike. I don't, Joe. Don't worry. Like, hey, life goes on, and when you're taking the bus and subway and everything like that, fuck, buy a car, man. Might be easier. I don't know. But given the fact that he swept me in the first round last season, and then he went on a tear to the finals when they got swept by King Raph, he has the ability to take down anybody in the league. He does. And given the fact that he squeaks into the playoffs, the league's gotten a little bit more robust on the top end. But the fact that I know how Mike Vick plays in comparison to Troy Hill, if there was going to be another upset, this would be the other upset. I do think that Troy Hill has the ability to knock out Mike Vick pretty quickly. But the thing is that Troy Hill played Mike Vick early on in the season. He didn't play him down the stretch. Mike Vick had really trouble at the beginning. And when you have the bunch of the Italians on his team, plus you add Chris Osgood into the mix, and you have Niedermeyer on the back end, you're going to be very difficult to beat. So the thing is when you look at the balance of both teams, I think Mike Vick is just a bit deeper, better goaltending. Does he apply his abilities into this game? It's going to be a series I would want to watch out of all the series right now for the first round. I'm going to go out and say Mike Vick takes it in 7. The next series, Troy City will be fully rebranded to the Providence Seabass by Lloyd 10Xmas. Thank you, buddy. You came in and saved the league because I didn't want to forfeit any games this year. And given what I'm going to say now for forfeits, is that everything that's going on now is going to be automatically simulated computer versus computer for forfeits. That's how we're going to play it. The big thing is that we're going to do, though, is that given this series, you came in and you saved us, you played all your games, you got everything done, and you actually challenged for the top seed, which is kind of disgusting. Best manual goaltender in the league, a la Hines in quotation. That guy, good riddance. I don't care where the hell he is. He could be underneath the Red Death truck anywhere else. I just don't care right now. But Lloyd Xmas, like, man, you made a Christmas for everybody. But the thing is, your team is deep. You got Broder. You got, who else do you freaking got? I can't remember the roster off the top of my head. He's got Gilmore. He's got Jagger. He's got a deep team. Does he have the team to make a deep run? He does. He has the team that would be able to do it. His style of play is very similar to all the other guys from the high tribe, but he's got a different style. He's got something that you got to encompass. That the fact that you have a tournament and you have to say it's auto goaltending and you take away this guy's strongest ability is kind of an insult. And now the fact that he's actually been able to play his manual goaltending, you can see what he can do. I'm going to say then you go over to Brandon for the other Clinton with Autobahn. He's a tough out. There's no easy games against Autobahn. You have Shanahan, you have Fleury. He's got suspect goaltending. When you have Locker and Whitmore as your goaltending, like even putting their names together, it's still shit goaltending. But his offense ability, he's a grinder. He's consistent. The matchup's going to be interesting because I do know Brandon does play some manual goaltending as well. I don't know how it's evolved. I haven't played him since I think the beginning of November. So it's been over a month since I played Brandon. But the Autobahn has the ability to take down Lloyd Xmas with Detroit City. I'm literally at the point of thinking, you know what? Since it's my video, I'm just gonna do it anyways. I think Troy City falls to Autobahn. I want to see an all underdog kind of move along. Going back into this now with Taipei and Orlando, for me and Nathan NB, we both played. I think I beat him twice. I might have lost one of them in overtime. Our styles of play are very, very similar. I'm going to go out on the limb and say I win it in 6. And go back to the Autobahn one with Troy City. I think Autobahn takes it in 6 as well. Mike Vick EBC and Autobahn, very similar types of plays, but given what's going on with everything how I want it, I want redemption. I'm going to say Mike Vick takes it in 6 as well. Sets up a rematch from round 1 from last season with me and him in the conference finals. But who will dance with the mullets in the Bruley Cup? I'm always biased. I always want to put myself. Given what happened with Mike Vick last year, what? Fuck it. I don't care. You guys will say your own opinions. I'm going to put me and the mullets in the finals. Why not 2 of the 3 guys who brought this league to life? Why not have your grandfathers come in? Why don't you have your Mount Rushmore of WNHL 95 represent at least the finals once? Let's do it for this year. Why not? Fuck it. I think I take Mike Vick out in 6, matching up me against Segathon. We've played a number of times. I think only 4. 4 times we played. 2 of them have went to overtime. 2 of them were ended in regulation. I've won 2. He's won 2. Let's say it goes to 7. We'll say it goes to 7. Segathon, I give it to you. You beat me in 7. So guys, this is my projections. This is what I think it'll end up as. But that's what I think is going to happen. Mullets win the Bruley Cup. I fall in the finals. I blow up my team, and everybody wants Timo Solani. Come and get him. He might be available if that happens. We'll move down to the Prospect Cup. We already know that the Gophers won their series against Surrey. I know Halifax and Elias were talking about having the Canada West tribe hit the Prospect Cup, and one of them wins it. Well, it ended pretty quickly. The Gophers won 1-0, 2-1, and 5-1, moving himself on to the conference Clarence Conference Prospect Cup. But he'll have to wait to play against one of these 3 teams, Sugar Valley against Pensacola. I think G-Lock takes down Sugar Valley with Einstein in 5, which would push him over to here. And then you have Sammy Smith against G-Lock. Both interesting games. I do think, however, it adds a little bit more flavor to the series if we give ourselves another Segathon matchup. The winner takes on for the Prospect Cup. Given the 2 styles of play I've seen myself and who plays the way they do, I do think Sammy Smith has the ability. He has the ability to take out. He does have the ability to take out his fellow Segathoner. He wins it in 5. On the other side, Halifax and the Pink Elephants with Sumter Trash. Halifax was a bright spot last playoff. He pushed Segathon quite a bit. Lost in 5. I do think Halifax wins this in 4. Then Dinkelberg and Brantford. The man, the myth, the dink. The youngest guy of our league has also some of the sickest thoughts in his mind, but it brings entertainment to our league. Gambini, one of the nicest guys in the league, but will he take it nicely on the dink this year? I think he lost last season to him in 4, I think. He's going to have redemption, but does he have the redemption to take down Patrick Roy, Cam Neely, and everything like that? But I do think Brampton wins it in 5. Matching up Halifax and Brantford. Who will take on the Chiefs? I think Halifax gets in there and realizes that he needs to play season 3. When you're setting yourself up for a potential top pick overall, you don't walk away from the game. I'm sorry. As much as you have your 94 stuff going on and your diehard 94, 95, your blood is starting to bleed WNHL 95, my friend. So matching up Halifax against Sammy Smith would be quite an entertaining finals. 2 very vocal players in the league. When they are, Sammy Smith known for his Twitch abilities. Streaming he's our king of streams. And then Halifax, his involvement is his direction, his thoughts of what the league could be doing, and also just great ways in being able to direct players. I think this one goes to 5, and I'm going to just say it for the factor of trying to keep them around. I think Halifax takes it in 5, giving Halifax the number 1 pick overall. So given that, that's my video for our playoff preview and a little bit of a review. But I honestly think that's what's going to end up happening with our playoffs. Stay groovy, boys. Let the playoffs begin. Best man win. Peace.